Well, maybe we could launch your merch at the fair.
Oh, what made you want to start a merch store?
I had been an art director for several different screen printing companies. Just really saw lack of enthusiasm to work with the fraternities and sororities. I actually designed my own sororities t-shirts.
What did your husband say when you told him?
He was at his law firm at the time. My husband comes home from work and he said, "Oh my gosh, you've gotten so much done today. What time did you get home?" And I said, "Funny story. I started my own business today."
Whoa, 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 clear out the room, I'm coming through, they wanna see what I'm about.
And that's the name, you know?
Drill, I'm on a paper route. Extra,
You gonna hook me up? Okay.
Today's trying to top it. I put commas over bullshit. Yeah, I put that on mamas. They trying to block all my blessings.
Hey, welcome back to the People of Oklahoma podcast, where I talk to very interesting people here in Oklahoma. The person I am talking to today actually lives in Tulsa and owns a business here in Tulsa. She goes by a couple of different names. The first one is the Queen of Tea, Queen T-shirt, and then also she goes by Miss Merch. She's the owner and founder of TGI Enterprises, Inc. Did I say that right?
You did.
I had to do a redo earlier. We have Tracy Copeland on the podcast. Tracy, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Did I mess up anywhere on that?
You didn't mess up anywhere, and
Okay.
I kind of like those nicknames.
Yes. Has no one gave you those nicknames before?
No, but
okay,
I like
well,
them.
we're going to put them on a T-shirt.
Okay.
And then I want a royalty fee
Yes.
on every T-shirt that is sold, because that's what I'm starting to figure out about these big businesses is that it's all about the royalties.
It is. It's all about the royalties.
But the reason why I have you on the podcast is, first off, I think it's really cool that you started a business here in Tulsa, but also 918 Day is coming up.
It is.
September 18th. 918 Day is a big deal here in Tulsa because obviously the area code 918. And we have done a collaboration together.
Yes.
We made these shirts, which is awesome. So, do you guys do this every single year?
This is our first year to get involved in 918 Day.
Oh, well, great. Well, I'm glad you guys reached out to me. And so I brought a couple of T-shirts.
Oh, yay.
And we're going to talk about which one is your favorite. So, first off, I have the white one, the blue one, long sleeve.
Yeah.
And what type of shirt is this?
That's a Comfort Colors shirt. It's a really popular shirt right now.
Yeah. This is really popular in sororities, I think.
It is. It's very big in the collegiate market. That 18 to 25-year-old. It's a great shirt.
Oh, well, I'm a little bit outside that demographic, but I still like it. I still like it. So we have the long sleeve. We have the short sleeve right here. On the back, it has, actually, I can't read it.
Doing great in the 918.
Doing great in the 918. We have the light blue. We have another long sleeve. Does all the colors come in long sleeves?
They do.
Okay.
We just have this is a selection that we're offering in this particular
I
design.
love these colors. Are these like pastel colors?
That's like a terracotta. It's really popular.
Okay, I'm trying to get into this fashion stuff, so I call everything pastel, which I guess is not correct. So, and then we got this nice little purple one.
Yeah, that violet color is really,
Yes.
really trending right now.
So, here's my plug. We got to zoom in on me, Caleb? Okay, we got to zoom in. If you would like one of these wonderful shirts, you can go to their website and type in the promo code 918agent10 to get 10% off. So, there's my plug. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, so we can go on, grab these shirts. And
you're wearing that one well.
thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to, plug the merch, What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to impress you, Tracy, so you would let me have a merch for this podcast on your, and you guys do all the merchandise for it.
We need to do that. I mean, you were an obvious reach out for this program as the 918 agent for sure.
Oh, thank you. Sarah, you hear that? I'm getting a merch line. Yep, I'm getting a merch line.
Oh, let's collaborate about it. Absolutely.
The People of Oklahoma podcast. So it's actually. Okay. All right. Let me break this down for you, Tracy. So it's the People of Oklahoma podcast. Okay. I did that on purpose, but I don't really talk about it on much of my podcast anymore because Sarah tells me it's a horrible idea. But the reason why I call it the People of Oklahoma podcast, if you use the abbreviation, it's called the poop. So what I wanted to do.
She's right. It's a terrible idea.
Gosh darn it. Now, there goes my merchandise deal. There goes my collaboration deal down the drain.
Because some people, might want to wear the poop emoji on some shirts. I don't know.
But I want to do like a hidden thing. Like people, all right. So I've been listening to a lot of Taylor Swift lately. Are you a Swiftie?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay, cool.
Love her.
I recently became one because of the Travis Kelce thing. Big Travis Kelce fan.
Me too.
And then when he started dating Taylor Swift, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I got sucked in.
I know, it's kind of intriguing, isn't it?
You guys need to do some merch around that. Well, you probably can't.
Too much licensing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can't do that. But anyway, so I started watching that, and then I found out like Taylor Swift does all these like Easter egg things in like her music and album releases, and thank you, Amy.
Right.
Dig at Kanye and Kim.
I know.
Which I learned about that, which is crazy. But that's what I want to kind of do.
Yeah, it keeps people looking and interested.
Yeah.
So you want to put a Easter egg poop?
Yeah, somewhere in the merch.
Okay.
In the merch.
Well, you know what,
Tracy, the way you're just describing this is stupid. You're just pooping on my idea.
Well, you know what? I don't want to do that. So we'll have to see where we could work that in.
I mean, you got graphic designers and
we do. We have
but
some
do you like
really
the name?
talented
Do you like
people.
the People of Oklahoma podcast?
I like the People of Oklahoma podcast. I
Okay.
think that's wonderful.
But you just don't like the poop.
Well, the acronym is kind of messy, a little stinky.
You know what, Tracy? I like you. At least you're honest. I have some people on the podcast when I first started that said they liked it, and then they talked behind my back and said they didn't. And well, they didn't really talk behind my back. I wish they did.
Yeah, you had to hear it firsthand.
Yeah, I had to hear it firsthand. But no, it's okay. But yeah, no, with these shirts, you can go online. Get them online. Remember 918-AGENT-10 to get the discount. And then also, you guys are going to be some other places if they don't want to buy stuff online.
We'll be at the 918 Day, and I think that's at Guthrie Green, isn't it?
No, I think it's at oh gosh, I think it's at Chapman
Park downtown.
Chapman Park?
That's right.
Yeah,
it's
Chapman
there.
Park.
So we'll be there all day.
Which I think the what's that? Mayfest is over in that area.
Yeah, Mayfest
during
is
May.
over there.
So that was, I didn't even know that was even a park thing until Mayfest a couple of years ago. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's like actually in downtown, like with the buildings and stuff. So this is your first year going to be a part of that.
Of the 918 days.
Yeah, I actually have never been to a 918 day. So
I haven't either. Yeah. So we're going to do that this year. We have a midweek market is what that particular in that park is called, and we have participated in that last year and then a couple times this year. Okay. So we'll be back for 918 day, and then we'll also be at the fair in the Made in Oklahoma booth.
Ooh.
Which will have this merch there as well, with a lot of other really great Tulsa, Route 66, just all things Tulsa and Oklahoma merchandise in the Made in Oklahoma booth.
This is why you guys need to do something with me with this podcast.
Well, maybe we could launch your merch at the fair.
Oh,
I know.
We could do that. We can do that. And you know what, Tracy, I have never told this to anybody else, but for you, I will get rid of the poop emoji if you tell me.
Okay.
Because obviously you have created a successful business in marketing and advertising with shirts and all that stuff. So, and let's dive into that. Like what? So this started in 1990.
It did.
Like, what made you want to start a merch store?
Well, that's a great question. I was 25 then, and I had been an art director for several different screen printing companies, worked in Dallas and then back in Tulsa, and just really saw lack of enthusiasm to work with the fraternities and sororities across the country at different universities. And when I was in college getting my Bachelor of Fine Arts at OU, I actually designed my own sororities t-shirts and worked with a local company in Norman on Campus Corner, and just realized that the purchasing power that this young target audience had was huge. We bought so many t-shirts just in my sorority and then all the other Greek organizations, but they didn't really have a big focus on customer service because basically we were kids buying things. We were 17 and 18-year-old kids that were the customers. And instead of recognizing us as a really big market that they could sell to, they told us what they would do for us instead of us getting what we wanted. And I just always thought customer service was the key to any good business. And so I recognized that the missing market there and that people weren't focused in on providing us with adult service. They were treating us like we were 17-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids. And so I went into business for myself. One day, 25 years old, I was an art director at a company here in town, and they didn't have customer service either, and really lacking in that area. And so I went home. I quit that job, went home from work, bought a house over on Brookside on 35th and Rockford.
Back where, Brookside was affordable.
It was.
That was a good purchase.
It was a good purchase.
You're just making great decisions.
I loved living over there at that time.
I love Brookside.
I know, it's so fun. It's a great beat of Tulsa over there. And I just picked up the phone and started calling sororities on TU's campus. And I said, hey, I design T-shirts. I want to print your shirts for you for your event coming up. I used to do it in Norman. And they asked me what the name of my business was, and I hadn't thought that far because I just needed a job, right? Because I'd quit my job. My husband was studying for the bar, and he said, don't quit your job till you have another job. And I'm like, oh, I can't do it anymore. I just have to quit.
And so you straight up quit?
I quit, went home.
What did your husband say when you told him?
He was at his law firm at the time and studying for the bar. And I painted the dining room in nervous energy, started calling the sororities and fraternities at TU, got some appointments in this.
So wait, you didn't tell him you quit your job until after? Okay.
He came home from work that day and found out.
And you were calling sororities before you told him?
Right.
Okay.
And so I got an appointment with the Kiomegas at TU, and they said, well, what's the name of your business? And I was like, I hadn't thought that far. I didn't have a business name. I was just trying to get some clients so I could start a business.
Right.
And so I just blurted out Tracy's Graphics because that's all I could think of. And so then my husband comes home from work and he said, oh my gosh, you've gotten so much done today. What time did you get home? And I said, funny story. I started my own business today.
So you haven't even started an LLC or anything like that? And you literally probably made up the name like an hour before you got home.
Well, I made it up on the fly on the phone with that girl.
Oh my gosh. So that's where TGI comes from.
Yes.
Tracy's Graphics. And what does the I stand for?
Incorporated.
Oh, Incorporated.
Tracy's Graphics Incorporated. And so then we changed it to, just TGI Enterprises because everybody would call and we were growing like gangbusters. We went from a startup in the second year, we were at $4.5 million in business in 2.5 years.
So, and this is back in the night. So you were at $4.5 million in 1992?
Yes.
Holy moly.
So we made the transition and started working with a bunch of businesses. Pepsi Cola Bottling here in town was one of our big customers. ONG was one of our original customers. Yeah. But
your original idea was to start this for sororities and fraternities. So I guess back in the 90s and probably before, T-shirts were a big, I know T-shirts are a huge deal now, but have they always been a big deal?
They've always been a really big deal for that particular target market. Yes.
Okay. But no one has ever, at that time, created a specific company for sororities or fraternities?
There were a few.
Was there competition?
There was competition. They were mostly on campus, local campuses like in Norman and Stillwater and just all the campus towns, university towns.
But they felt like they kind of had a monopoly on it, and they didn't really care about the customer service. Or anything like that.
It was just they were just there and supplying the demand, and the people were coming in. They didn't have to do any marketing or advertising. And then I went out in the game and started traveling all over the country to all these different college towns, and just made a big splash.
So when you got that bid for sorority bid, but when you got that when you got that business for TU, like you didn't have any T-shirt printing stuff.
No, I didn't.
So how did you do that?
Well, at first I was, I designed and sold the T-shirts, and then I was a kind of a middleman. I would use a screen print company, just any screen company in town, and get them to print for me. But I couldn't get the turnaround times weren't working, and that was the lack of customer service in the industry. And so I went out and purchased my own screen printing equipment and taught myself how to screen print and went from there.
And so when did that happen? Like how long after you got
that was like month 3, the third month.
Are those expensive?
Yeah, it was pretty expensive. My dad loaned me, I think it was $3,500, and he said I had 3 months to pay it off.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dad's businessman.
Yes, my dad was an entrepreneur, and so big heart.
Oh, so that's where you get it.
Yes.
That's where you get it. Did any of do you have any siblings?
I do. I have 2 siblings.
Did they go into do their own business?
No.
So you're the entrepreneur kid? Mm-hmm. Man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So you get the screen printing, you starting your business. Who was your first hire?
my first hire was Susie Cross, and she and I met the first day at OU. She and I joined the same sorority, but she'd moved off to New York after graduation, and she was designing book covers at Random House. And I called her up and said, hey, I've started this business. I'd love for you to move back to Tulsa, because she was just going to live in New York for a year or two and then move back home and help me with the business. And so I hired her in October.
Wow. So you're just moving.
Yeah.
You're just moving. So where did you see the growth at? Was it mostly in sororities or fraternities when you first started?
Yes. I hired a really big go-getter salesperson that graduated from TU, and she was from Missouri, from Columbia, Missouri. And she just said, there's so many opportunities in Missouri. Let me travel and take Greek's life there. Let's take our Greek business there. And so then we started traveling, and I hired 10 collegiate account managers that had territories and covered the whole United States, and sent them, and they traveled around and sold.
Dang. Do you still have that now, or was that back?
No,
back
we
then?
still have that now.
Man, so you have 10 salespeople that would travel to different universities to.
We do.
So how does that work? Do you just do they just go onto a campus and just knock on doors and say, hey, we're with, TGI Greek?
TGI Greek.
Yeah, because you have two separate businesses. Let's
Right.
touch on that real quick.
Okay.
So you have the Greek side of it, which is TGI Greek, and then you have TGI Promo.
Right.
Okay.
So
And
TGI Promo is the one that's doing the 918 shirts.
Okay. Got you.
And TGI Promo works with businesses. And then also we work with a lot of Indian gaming and the tribes around Oklahoma and across the country in the TGI Promo sector, because I'm also Native American. So we're a 100% female Native American owned business.
Okay. Wow. And speaking on that, when I walked through your shop, I noticed there's a lot of women there working.
There are.
Which was super cool to see.
It is really cool.
I walked into the floor, and it's hot out there.
It's hot.
Because you guys got these heaters that are massive, that are I don't know, how hot is it getting
Well,
there?
they get up to 360 degrees.
Dang.
So the ink, some of our ink is water-based, and so it doesn't have to cure at that high of a temperature, but a lot of it also is oil-based. And so when it runs through those dryers, as soon as we print that, like the 918 shirt you have on the front, it's regular plastisol ink, and on the back it's puff ink. So it's a raised print.
Up.
So both of those techniques have to get up to a specific temperature to cure on the shirt. I don't know if you've ever had a t-shirt where you've washed it and it starts cracking the print and it'll wash off and stuff.
Yes.
It's because it didn't get cured at the right temperature.
Oh, okay.
And so those dryers get up to 360 degrees, so it gets really hot, especially here in Oklahoma when it's 100 degrees outside, and we're 360 degrees, and all that heat permeating through the dryers gets really hot. So it's not a very comfortable environment.
Yeah, I walked out there. I was like, man, it's hot. Well, that was the first thing I noticed. It was hot. And then I look at the lady that was showing me around, and I was like, man, it's hot out here. Do you guys have AC? And they were like, yeah, we got AC. It's because of these heaters. And that's when they explained to me about that process. And then my second thing I noticed is I don't see one guy out here. I was like, man, these girls are working. All right.
We do have guys.
No, you do. But let's talk about how many employees do you have, and then how many girl to guy, which I know you don't hire off of if they're girls or guys. But
no, not at all.
But
I don't know what the ratio is. I do know that we have there's 68 employees.
68 employees.
And we have employees, back to those account managers, we have employees at strategic locations. So we have a lot of remote account managers now.
Oh, okay.
We have a TGI Promo account manager that's located in Kansas City. And then we have an account manager, 2 in Texas. We have 1 in Missouri, and 1 in South Carolina, 1 in Atlanta.
Oh.
I don't know where they all are because I'm not over those account managers.
Yeah. So would you say you guys have a footprint on every major college campus?
I don't think I could be that bold to say that, but we have a footprint on a lot of campuses. We're growing on the West Coast right now and up in the Northeast.
You got anything at USC?
We do have some jobs there.
Alabama?
Oh, yeah.
University of Arkansas?
Not much at the University of Arkansas.
Okay.
Which you'd think we would. But one of the things...
Harvard?
Harvard? No, but we've printed at Dartmouth and Yale.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Man. Are you guys the biggest college Greek printing in the country?
That's a great question. We're one of the top 5.
Okay.
So there's 5 of us. For the fraternities and sororities, it's a $300 million market. And we're one of the top 5. Now, that doesn't mean we have 5% or 4% of that market, because there's a lot of small players, that have their little pieces of the pie. But we and the reason I know we're top 5 is we're one of the top 5 royalty payers. So we pay royalties every time we print a fraternity or sorority shirt. We pay 15 to 18% royalty. You were mentioning royalties earlier.
Yeah.
We pay 15 to 18% depending on that organization and what they want to collect. We pay that to the licensing company, and then they distribute it to either the Sigma Chi's or the Alpha Gamma Deltas of the world.
Oh, so wait, so if I'm like with Di Kelt, I don't know, forgive me, I don't know fraternities and sororities very well, but if I'm with like Theta, I know Theta. So you have to pay a royalty fee to Theta's organization? Oh.
So we pay it to the licensing company, and then they keep a percentage of it to police their, that Theta's trademarks.
Oh, okay, because you're using the trademark on that shirt that you
Correct.
And
they want to keep it up to a really nice standard. They don't want to have drinking or tobacco or, any kind of sexual type images on their shirts. So they're protecting their brand. And we're one of those licensees, sorry. And we're in the top 5% of royalty payments.
Oh, okay. So I guess that's a good number to kind of judge if you're in that ballpark. Now tell me, have you had any crazy stories about fraternities or sororities coming to you wanting to print something on a shirt?
Oh, for sure. Early on, I was traveling to the University of Colorado. I was actually pregnant with my first daughter, but I wasn't showing at the time. And I was walking around and interviewing or, having sales meetings with fraternities. And it was really funny. I was 29 and going into fraternity houses and and talking to people, trying to grow my brand and my business, right? And one guy said, well, can you put a girl floating down the river on a keg with a guy next to her with her bathing suit top in his mouth? And I'm like, what? When I was pretty young, 29, I was trying to figure out, well, how do I diffuse this and tell them to get another, idea?
Yeah.
And I said, well, tell me who's going to be wearing these shirts. They said, oh, all the girls. And I'm like, I don't think they're going to want that. And they said, oh, why? And I'm like, well, I just think that maybe we could do a little less of that graphic image and something, more fun that women would want to wear. And they're like, oh, okay.
I guess they wouldn't want a half naked lady on a shirt. I don't think they would like that too much.
And that's probably the best one I could say on here. They've had a lot of funny things along the way. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like with the process, so you have different departments at your store, and this is just me realizing it from, walking through it. You actually have a design. Like, how many designers do you have?
We have an art department, and we have 18 combination of graphic designers and illustrators that work for us.
Yeah, because that was one of the things. Like, I've helped create a couple of different shirts, before. And I think it's really cool that you guys have that department, because I'll have an idea and I'll get on like Canva or like, a napkin and write out an idea. And I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
Exactly.
And I have it in my head, but I can't put it on paper.
We love that. So we can work from a napkin drawing to, if you have your logo, whatever anybody has, just a general idea. We kind of consider ourselves like the creative problem-solving screen printing company, because we have such a big powerhouse in graphic design and illustration. So all you have to do is come to us with your idea, and we can take it from there.
Yeah, and then from there, then you guys have recommendations on shirts. And so do you have partnerships with like a lot of different third part, or like bulk selling shirts and things like that, or do you guys? How does that work? Like
where we buy our stuff from? Oh yeah, we have a lot of buying power, and so we work with a lot of just different blank vendors where we order in. We don't keep inventories. That's how we can keep our costs down to our customers. We order job by job basis.
Oh, okay, okay. So like if you have like a certain big job coming up, then that's when you purchase the
goods, the blanks.
Okay. When growing your business, was there any time where you're like, crap, I don't want to do this anymore?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Owning a business, especially a manufacturing business, which requires a lot of employees, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that, and you feel so tied to your staff and your employees and making sure everything's good for them and that they have jobs to do. So, you really have to be out there constantly selling and growing your business and doing things, and it's a lot of work. And I have a fine art degree, so I don't really have a background in business other than my, learning on my own over the last 36 years. So yeah, there was lots of times when I thought, am I going to make it? Is this going to work? There's been a lot over 36 years. There's been a lot of economic downturn in that time frame.
Yeah.
And then COVID was really difficult. And I thought, do I want to come back from this? Do I want to do it?
Yeah.
So I've had those, late night thoughts.
Right. Because when you started your business back in the 90s, like right now, I would say probably in the last 5-7 years, it's like cool to be an entrepreneur, right? But you started this business back in the 90s.
Right.
And like, I feel like back at that time, like being an entrepreneur was kind of like, all right, so what's your real job? Like,
right.
So it wasn't cool to be an entrepreneur. So it's like when I talk to people that started a business back, before it was cool, I think I just have a respect for them, because I do probably some things that some people might consider to be an entrepreneur, but I don't consider myself an entrepreneur because you got to put so much risk.
Right.
And I feel like I don't take that much of a risk with my with my plans because I'm just afraid. So I don't have any employees. That's my biggest thing is working with employees, because I don't want to be responsible for someone else's livelihood. It just gives me the hives.
Yeah, it's a lot. When you're an employee, you look so forward to payday, right?
Right.
And then when you become the person that has to make sure you can meet payroll, you're like, oh, God, is it payday again?
You're like, I gotta write these checks.
Right. And being 25 and fearless as a woman, I just couldn't wait to turn 30 when I started my business, because I thought it would give me such a mark on age and respect. And I realized when I got to 30, nobody really even took me any more serious than they did at 25. So it was hard at first. And you're right, back in the day, there wasn't a lot of women starting businesses in 1990. And so I feel like, I have a kind of an obligation to young entrepreneurs now. And neat thing that we're doing is we're taking on, once a quarter, TGI is going to kind of mentor one new female-owned business.
Yes.
We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, share more about that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought that up.
And what we're going to do is, it could be a startup that needs their logos designed, all their collateral marketing material. They need merch, whatever they need. And we're going to give that service to them for free, and so much product for free to help them get started. Or if it's a current business that just needs some help and some guidance, we'll do some mentorship. We'll also give them free merch that they can help promote their business with. So we're going to take on one company like that a quarter.
And you guys are just starting this?
We're just starting that.
So do you guys have one company in mind yet?
Not right now. We're getting out the word on it. So this is kind of the first launch right now that we're doing that. Yeah.
Well, shoot, I'll send this over to your marketing team. They can use it.
Exactly. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be taking that on.
Oh man, that's. What made you have that idea?
Well, honestly, one of my marketing team members, Lindsay Blackburn, she came up with the idea, and I fell in love with it. So
that is the nice thing about having employees, though.
It is,
because they have ideas, and I can tell when I walk through. You're very open. Your leadership style is very open. Of like, hey, my door's always open for ideas.
Exactly.
Because I just felt that when we were talking about this shirt. Who's your floor manager? Emily Blasdale or Ashton Van. Yep. That we were talking over there, and I could tell by you taking in feedback that you have a very open, which I respect, and I think is really, really cool. Oh, well, thank you. I wasn't always like that. You weren't. Well, I like to consider myself open-minded from, early age, but I had to develop a leadership and a management style because I'd never had employees. And I started the business so early, I hadn't really worked for very many people to have mentors to say, oh, I really like this management style, or this was a great boss. So I didn't really have that. So it took me a while. I'm sure some of my early on employees probably wouldn't think of me as maybe as highly as my employees do today. So did you find yourself when you first started, maybe just like a little nervous about it all, and that you tried to really like take a hold of it and like grab hold of it real tight and be very
Yeah, to a degree, you know,
I mean, it'd be understandable if you did.
Yeah, I did that to a degree, but I did start getting employees, you know, before my first year and realized that, you know, gosh, they have some great ideas and we need to embrace these, you know, because everybody comes to it. Everybody that sits around a table comes with a different idea, and just the sheer diversity of people, you can really grow if you listen.
Yeah. So what was probably the best idea you ever heard from one of your employees? Like, you're like, gosh, that's a great idea.
Gosh, I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
All right, what's the worst idea? Poop podcast? Is that the worst idea you ever heard?
Oh no. I've heard some interesting ideas over the years, but no, I think you know, my daughters have come to work for me, and some women their age are working for me now that they knew even in high school and, you know, and then college and things. And so I think just really listening to this younger generation is great ideas. They have so many great ideas.
Yeah. I think you're the first person that ever said a millennial has a great idea. Thank you.
They do. Yes.
You're just man, we get crapped on. Poop podcast reference. We get crapped on all the time. I mean, that's the reason why I call it the poop, because I'm a millennial.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Well, you know, 3 of my kids are millennials, and I really learn a lot from them.
How was it? Did you always think about hiring your kids, or how's that dynamic?
You know, it's great.
Is it?
It really is.
I mean, you can be honest on here.
No, I know. A lot of people I don't think can work with friends and family, but
Man, I can't.
But I'm doing both.
Yeah.
You know, hiring my best friend, and she's now the CFO of our business, and then my oldest daughter is the.
Wait, your first hire? Your friend from New York that you moved. She's still with the company?
Yeah, she's still with the company.
Oh, that's great.
She's our CFO.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like working with family, even when they're your friends, when they've worked with you that long. Yeah. And then you know, hiring my daughters to work with me. They worked with me, and when they were in high school, all my kids, you know, would come.
Where'd
up
they go
and
to high
work.
school?
They went to Jinx.
Oh, they went Jinx. Oh, Jinx is a great school. How old's your kids?
My oldest is 30.
30? Okay, so she graduated in 2012.
2012 out of 2011, a 20.
Do you know the Hinches?
I do. Sarah and
Phil?
the twins?
Oh, no, Brady and Brooke Hinch?
No, I don't.
No, okay, never mind. They went to Jinx. No, they're my age. They wouldn't have. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated 2010
Oh, okay.
from Ponca City.
Oh, okay.
Do you do anything in Ponca City?
We don't do a lot in Ponca City yet. Yeah.
Yeah, Ponca City. Yeah, that's where I grew up.
Did you know Aubrey?
Hersick?
Yes.
Yeah, I know Aubrey. How do you know Aubrey?
Aubrey cheered at TU with my youngest daughter, Carly.
No way.
And
I think Aubrey's No, she's not teaching at Jinx anymore.
No, she was head of their ASL department there.
Yeah.
Now she's at Edmond Schools.
Oh, she's at Edmond now?
She's not teaching. She's like the director of American Sign Language, I think.
Oh.
She and my daughter are still friends.
Yeah, I remember when she got interested in sign language in high school. It's cool that she's doing something like that now. I didn't know she was doing that. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. She actually worked for us for a while too.
Did she?
Yeah, she was our Jinx account manager and liaison. Yeah.
Did your daughter play high school at Jinx? Or, I mean, play high school at Jinx. And did she play soccer at Jinx?
No.
Okay, because I know an influencer you guys teamed up with, Katie Harris.
Yeah, Katie Harris is one of our influencers. Yeah.
So was that your idea to start teaming up with influencers?
Actually, that was Logan Helm's idea, our marketing director.
Yeah, Logan. Okay.
Yeah, and then also Mary Ledbetter.
Yeah. She was on the podcast. Sarah, when did she come on? A couple weeks ago? Has it been a month? Holy crap. Yeah, she came on.
Yeah, she's great. And her mom lives across the street from us.
Oh, okay.
And so I met Mary through her mom, Cheryl, and, they own Readers. And so she told me she was going to be on this podcast. And, and it was my idea, actually, to call you to do the 918. I'm like, we need...
See, that's a great idea. That's a good idea. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Yes. So, because I just thought, well, the 918 agent plays in so well with the 918 days. And Mary did some 918 shirts that she sold, some merch for herself.
Yeah, she did. She did Mary's merch. And then you guys do some stuff for readers too.
Yeah, we
you guys
do.
all the printing for readers. And then you guys had a couple of influencer events where they had like a Tulsa shirt.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Katie Harris and some other.
Brooke Bellinger.
There was about 5 of them.
Maddie, I think, went out.
Maddie was one of them. They
Yeah.
were great, and they came out and did a kind of a sip and print, and got to print their own shirts and did a Tulsa
so
shirt.
cool.
Then we got connected with some influencers in Oklahoma City and did an Oklahoma City shirt too.
Oh, nice. Oh, you probably had Tiffany OKC. I love Tiffany.
Yeah, I think that's great that you guys have a good influencer
Well,
community.
We do, and I'm about to say a joke, but we really do. But I've been trying to get into that group for a long time because like I'm a male influencer, right? I was very resistant for a long time calling myself an influencer because I'm like, oh man, I don't want to be called an influencer. But now I'm embracing it.
Right.
And so after embracing it, I want to be part of their group. So I see them at events now, and I'm like, hey, when you guys go out for dinner, invite me.
Invite me.
Invite me. Because, I want to be part of the group. And they're like, Steven, you don't want to be part of our group. And I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yes,
I know.
do.
You should. They're great ladies. We enjoy working with influencers.
Yeah, there's not very many men out there. So I just try to, get connected where I can.
Well, before I knew you were like officially the 918 influencer or the 918 agent, I was telling my team, I'm like, hey, you guys need to get the guy influencer, the guy influencer that does all the hamburgers. You know who he is? And they're like, no. And then over time, they're like, oh, you mean the 918 agent? Because I didn't,
Right, you just knew me as the burger guy. Which
Right.
a lot of people knew me as the burger guy.
Right.
I actually got a funny backstory on that real quick. So I started making videos a long time. So I'm a real estate agent, and I started making content to help with my real estate business because I didn't want to do open houses. I didn't want to do farming neighborhoods or cold calling. I just want to do social media because I enjoyed it, and also it brought me clients that way. So I just doubled down. And so I was doing these short form videos for a long time, and my buddy said, hey, there's this new burger spot in Owasso. Let's go check it out. You can film it. And I was like, man, I really don't want to. Like, these short form videos aren't getting a lot of views. Like, I'm getting more views off of YouTube. Like, I'm thinking about stopping. And so I filmed the burger spot. I put it on there, took off on Facebook. Yeah. Just took off. And I'm like, all right, maybe I try another one. So the next day I tried another burger spot. That took off on all platforms, like 500,000 views.
Wow.
And I was like, all right. I did that 5 days in a row. And after the 5th day, I was like, I'm tired of burgers. But all those videos took off. And I have this little tag that I do, like, on my quest to find the best hamburgers in Oklahoma.
Right.
And I just did that messing around. But that's now my tag for all those videos. And people know me as the burger guy.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, and also sucks that they don't know me as the realtor. But you know what?
That's okay.
Yeah,
It plays in.
It does,
once they do know you as that, then they know you as a realtor.
Yeah. So I'm glad you watched. I'm glad you went to bat for me with your team.
Absolutely.
Of like, we want this guy. We want this guy. So have you seen great success teaming up with influencers?
We have.
Yeah.
I mean, every time we've done that, it's interesting. Like, and we put it on our socials or do a TikTok about it. Those TikToks take off really well because you guys have such great followers. And then we notice the ones we do, our posts we make right after those do really well.
Really? Yeah. Because that's how I actually heard about you guys. I've been in Tulsa since 2012. I never heard, but I've heard from you guys, TGI, through those
influencer channels.
Through those influencer channels. So I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, I think that's.
I was like, man, when I was helping run businesses, I was like, I wish I knew about them.
Yeah.
So I think it's working for not only people buying that merch, but also getting brand recognition from local businesses here in Tulsa.
Maybe somehow we could come up with an idea that lets people know that you aren't just the people of Oklahoma, but you're the realtor.
Yeah, I'm a realtor. I'm okay with it, and I'll tell you why. I'm okay with having separate entities. So I did a podcast with one of my buddies, one of my first episodes, and he works for Grand Mental Health. Have you heard of Grand Mental Health?
I have.
I can get you hooked up. They need merch. I'll get you hooked up. I'll get you hooked up. But he's like the chief clinical officer of the company, and so I had him on the podcast to talk about Grand Mental Health stuff. And he talked about this thing that they do with smaller communities for their first responders of having an iPad. So if they go to a place where they need help with like mental health crisis, they can get therapists on the thing to, you know, help talk down the
that's
person,
nice.
which is super, super cool. Well, me and him work out together because we're best friends. And we were at the gym and a guy came up and started talking to Matt, and I was getting a drink of water, so I was really paying attention. He came up to Matt because he saw him on my podcast talking about the first responder thing, and he's a firefighter at Sperry.
Oh, wow.
And wants that iPad at his community. And I heard the very tail end of that conversation, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome. My podcast was able to help. So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm cool. You know, we'll continue doing this the way we do it. And, you know, just off of that story, able to help my podcast, able to connect something that brought a, you know, benefit to a community.
Right.
It's like worth it.
Well, because it feels good to help people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
a
great story.
Oh, it was a great story. And I was glad I was able to be there to witness it. So I was like, dude, this is awesome. It's like, this is so cool. And then I was like, oh, you listen to my podcast? Awesome. People listen to it.
I know.
Yeah. Out of the 3 viewers, and now I know one of them. So that's great. Awesome.
You know, 2. I'm sitting right here.
Yeah. Great. So what's your kind of vision going forward with this?
Well, I just want to, you know, keep being creative and making a difference in this, you know, arena that we're in, designing great shirts and supplying good customer service. I'm going to have my first grandbaby in about 25 days.
Whoa, the 30-year-old?
No, 29.
29-year-old. Okay. Good, nice. Yeah. So how's that feel?
It feels really good. It kind of gives you an opportunity to assess your, you know, goals and where you are in life. And I have such a great team at work that I feel like I can, you know, step back a little bit and enjoy my work life and my new future grandma role life.
So what's the grandma name going to be? Let's come up with it right now.
Well, it's kind of a funny one.
Oh, you already have it?
We do.
All right.
So my husband and I have been dating since we got together when I was 18. So
did you grow up in Tulsa?
Yes.
And where'd you go? You go Jinx?
No, I went to Tulsa Memorial High School.
Yeah.
And my husband did too. He's a year older than me. We really didn't know each other that well then, but I kind of knew who he was because he was a grade ahead. And we started dating my senior year of high school. Was he a looker? Oh, I thought he was.
Okay, all right. So you had your eye on him. Okay.
Blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah. No way. My son has blonde hair. Yeah. And actually, funny story. My son is born on 9/18 day.
I know. Susie told me that. Yeah. Or I think Carly told me.
So when you reached out to me to do it, like
let's.
I was like, whatever you guys need, because I love it.
We need to do some little kids shirts.
Oh, you do. You do.
At least for your 2.
Yep. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. But anyway, so we what were you talking about?
Oh, we're talking about you having the Google eyes for your husband.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But so when we got married when I was 22, he was 23. Okay. So we've been married a long time, 38 years.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a real successful relationship. But when we were young and he was in law school, we were in Norman, and we just had these stupid little nicknames for each other. And we called each other Bunky with a B, Bunky and Bunker. I'm Bunky and he's Bunker. And so
where'd that come from?
I don't know. We were just like back in the day, in our day, you know, when you went back after class, you called it re-rack if you got back in bed.
Okay, yeah.
It was just a little saying that everybody had. Are you going to go rack? Are you going to re-rack? And then we thought it was funny, and so because we all had bunk beds in our dorms, and so we're going to bunk, you know, going to go back and bunk, and so he just started calling me Bunky, and then I called him Bunker.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So is that the grandma name?
Yeah. We're going to be, because I was like, let's let the grandkids pick out our names. And
that's dangerous.
Yeah, I know. And so we started talking about names for him. And for some reason, he just didn't like any of the grandpa names. He's like, oh, God, that's so old. Oh, no, I don't like that. He poo-pooed all of them. Mm-hmm. And so then I said, well, what about Bunky and Bunker? He's like, oh, I like it. It was the first one he liked. So that's what our names are.
Yeah, my mom went with an untraditional name. Which it's funny because after you come up, you think it's untraditional, then you start hearing it everywhere. But my mom went with Lala.
Lala.
Have you heard of Lala before?
I have. Lala's cute.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not as uncommon as I thought it was. And then my dad's is Day Day.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, Lala and Day Day.
Lala and Day Day.
Those are cute.
Yeah, that's what my mom picked out probably I don't know, about a month before my daughter was born, because I had the first grandkid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at the age of 19, they were so happy.
Oh, wow.
They were not happy. It was one of those uh-ohs. But now that uh-oh is 11 and she's awesome. She's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. Time
So
flies.
how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
3.
So I have Rylan, who is 11, going to, she's actually going to be going to Ulaga schools this year. And then I have Forrest, who just started kindergarten out at Owasso.
Oh, wow.
And that's the one that's born on 918 day. His name is Forrest. And then my youngest, her name is Fallon, and she is about to turn 3 here in a couple months.
Oh, wow.
Yep. It's kind of funny. So my kids' birthdays are all kind of interesting. So my daughter's birthday is 4/8/12, divisible by 4s. Then my son is born on 9/18 day. And then my youngest daughter is born on 11/22.
Oh, wow.
So it's easy for me to remember because they all kind of have some numerical pattern to it.
Yeah.
So I think God did that on purpose so I wouldn't forget any of my kids' birthdays.
I had to write them down. I had so many 4 kids 6 and under that I get to the pediatrician and they'd say, what's his birthday? And I'm like,
I don't know. This is how bad it took me forever to remember my wife's birthday, and then also it took me forever to remember my wife's phone number, which I have a really funny story. Some people think it's funny, some people don't. I won't mention it on here. Actually, I will. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to talk about it. So I'm a recovering alcoholic.
okay.
And the only reason why I remember my wife's phone number is at the rehab I went to, we didn't have cell phones. So if we wanted to make a call, we had to make a call from the little pay phone there at the rehab. So I had to, so I wrote down my wife's phone number in our notebook that we got to carry around with us. And I was tired of always forgetting the notebook in my office or in my bunk room where I was staying at. So I had to memorize it. One night I memorized their phone number. So I tell my wife, there's 2 good things that came away from rehab is I've been sober now for 4 years. And also I memorized your phone number. So,
Oh, wow. There you go.
so that's how I memorized my phone number. So Rob's Ranch, thank you for getting me sober and making me memorize my wife's phone number.
That's fantastic story.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
4 years right now?
Yep, May 27th was 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yep,
Congrats.
4 years.
That's
Thank
not
you.
easy.
Yep, not easy, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it. So it was a long journey, but one of my interesting backstories. That I'm a recovering alcoholic and I'm a Zumba instructor.
You're a Zumba instructor?
Yeah, that's
wow.
that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
I did to meet girls in high school. In college. And then I found out the average age was 65, 70 of my participants in my class.
Oh,
So it did not help me meet girls at all.
No.
No. I should have gotten the t-shirt game. Should have been one of your sales reps.
I know, right?
So before we wrap up, you're building a new facility here in Tulsa.
We are.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, I want to break the. This is where the People of Oklahoma podcast is where we break news.
Exactly. Yeah, it's big news. So we bought a 25,000 square foot facility at 3rd and Owasso. So it is just on the tail end. We're in the Pearl District.
Yeah, the Pearl District. I was about to say Owasso. That's a short street, isn't it? It's a very short street over there.
It is. It's a pretty short street because it runs right into the highway.
Right, it runs in the highway. Yeah.
So at 2nd and Owasso, which we have the whole block there, is Old Route 66. So we're just right off of Old Route 66.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And 25,000 square feet is a lot, and we're more than doubling our size. So we hope that will make a real big difference. We're rehabbing a building. That building was built in 1930. It's got a big barrel wood ceiling roof in our production floor.
Whoa.
It's going to be beautiful when we're finished. We're
So did
really
you guys
excited.
buy out that whole building?
We bought the whole building.
That's awesome.
And it's on a little over 1.5 acres of land. So we have room for expansion, maybe some other little side projects that we want to do.
Nice. And when is that expected to finish?
We hope to move in the week after Christmas.
Okay. How's the construction been going on it?
It's going pretty good. We aren't really doing construction at this point. We're just doing cosmetic things, sandblasting and painting and things like that.
Okay, so yeah, so
we're
you
getting
probably
ready.
hit that. You probably hit that then.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Well, we have to put in all of our offices and take down a few walls, but we aren't in that space yet because we're still working on our permits, and you can't do anything structural till then.
You know, I had a mayor candidate on my podcast. If he was mayor, I would make a call for you, but he's not. He's not mayor yet. So, once I get that in, I'll help you out.
Yeah, help me out.
Yeah, I'll help you out.
I think it's going pretty well. So they just the city came back with a bunch of questions and, usage and things like that. There's a lot that goes into permitting and buildings. And
yes. Yeah, we helped. I helped open a couple of fitness centers in Tulsa way back in the day. And I remember getting permitting and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, that was a nightmare.
Did they do Zumba?
No, we did not. We did not. Yeah, I retired from Zumba. I did Zumba for 3 years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, after I found out real quickly that it wasn't
your target market?
Yeah, it wasn't my target market, but I enjoyed it. I had so much fun doing it.
Yeah, I bet it's fun.
Yeah, I was a 20-year-old teaching Zumba.
Oh, I bet they loved it.
Oh, they loved it. I loved it too.
You probably brought a lot of energy to the room.
Oh, I did. It was so fun. So when you guys get finished, can I come out and film it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I would like you to.
All
We're
right.
going to do a big, open house and, kickoff celebration. But I think it'll really take us to the next level. You kind of asked me what my, goals were for the future. I think it'll really take us to the next level because we're going to be right outside of downtown. We have excellent parking. I'm hoping that it'll help us recruit even more employees. And just a lot more space to do a lot more things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Tracy, I think we're out of time here, but let's talk about these shirts one more time. So if you want to get these awesome shirts, 918 shirts, you can go to TGI?
TGIpromo.com.
Yep, and you can get the shirts there. Remember the promo code 918agent10 to get 10% off. And then also, you're going to be at two places. What were the two places?
We're going to be at the 918 Days downtown, and then we'll be at the fair.
And be at the fair. So
in Maida, Oklahoma.
Buy your shirts there.
Yeah.
So, Tracy, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been fun getting to know you.
Yeah, this is great. Great. So, go check out TGI Enterprises, Inc., and they'll get you hooked up.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.